We're with a little group called Timotheo. We're kind of young, relatively young, so we're gleaning some things from you guys, which is great. Yeah. I think the best and easiest thing is to start off with just a real quick little video that kind of captures a little bit of what we do and who we do it with. And even the song was written by one of our guys who was a player, and now is in the Hall of Fame, and also is one of our coaches. And so yeah, we have quite the group. So.
Watching the next generation battle out for the public. And though we're all here for the winning, let's not forget the reason we started this in the beginning. That's God, the almighty powerful God. When he is by your side, you're rarely against the odds. I used to hang around the coolest friends, but all that truancy that led me into some foolish hands. If you feel the same, just believe that all can change. And one day you might be inducted in the Hall of Fame. No matter what's in front of you, just go and run your route. Striving for your goals is what dreams are all about. So if you feel the same, just believe that all can change. And one day you might be inducted in the Hall of Fame. No matter what's in front of you, just go and run your route. Striving for your goals is what dreams are all about. Oh, don't ever lose hope. Just believe in the word of Christ. He will never let you down. Just be patient and good will come around. Don't ever lose hope. Just keep the teammates by your side. And don't let each other down. Let's go around. Go crazy when you just run.
So it's Chris pulling up the PowerPoint. I'm Nate Martin. Said we live in Philadelphia, North Philly. I'm an Eastern grad. So is Chris.
Right.
He's from the MBA program. He did undergrad here, so we have some connections here for sure. And Timotheo's been going on for about we're entering our ninth season. Started very kind of organically out of a church in North Philadelphia, really with no intent of becoming kind of what it is today, but it's continued to grow. And a few years ago, the person who had started it out of the church ended up, he and his family ended up moving away, and me and some of the other guys who were involved kind of stepped up and begun to run the program. And so that's where we currently are right now. And actually, our main season for our youth is about to start.
Yeah, we got it now.
About to start, so.
We're good.
Do you want to say anything more about
No, I mean, just one of the things is you know, we're located in a little neighborhood called Kensington. Mostly that's where we play our games, and then just around there. And we've got about 200 youth. I wasn't really paying attention if you said that already, but we have about 200 youth, 40 adults, and we're really rooted in the community. So each team, we have 12 different teams in this league right now, and they're out of 11 different congregations, and so we get pull our coaches and things from that congregation, and then the kids and stuff are all from the neighborhood. And so that's kind of, he'll tell a little bit about the...
So this is just kind of a setting of the neighborhoods that we're dealing with, and we're not putting this up here to, you know, make the neighborhoods necessarily look bad or so on, but just understand some of the difficulties that our youth are facing in our neighborhoods. Just a lot of poverty, as you see, a lot of single mother households, high schools where most of our kids go to just are very poorly performing, and just the statistics show just a lot of the struggles that they face as they're trying to get their education. And as you can see here, just some other things about 70% those who will be less of getting completing high school and so on. And so there's just this culture and these hurdles that have kind of been created now over time here in Kensington and neighboring communities that a lot of our youth are just struggling with, and that Timotheo is not the solution in and of itself, but plays a role in that. It's something we're passionate about. So.
Yeah, so I think one of the strengths of our program is that it's rooted in the community, right? And it was actually something that actually both of us were invited into the thing. We didn't transplant it. We're not just some two white dudes that had some things from Indiana. We brought it in and implemented. But we were actually just living in the community, and we've been there for quite a while. And actually, it was I was working at this little church called Iglesia del Barrio. And this kid was like, hey, this flag football league, we really want to be in it. Can you help us out? And I'm like, all right, so I got it. And then I'm just a freak, so I started studying all the plays and studying how to do football really well. And it really was his invitation that we started to begin to kind of join the league. And one of the things I realized is it's okay not to have all the answers. Because if you have all the answers, like sometimes it's not to our benefit. Because what happened was I didn't know everything there was about flag football, so what I did is I started getting me some guys that knew some things, And one of the things that I see as a strength is, and we'll talk about in a minute, is we're more than football, And so we don't want to just be a ministry, we're going to lead all these kids to Jesus, but our football sucks. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we don't want to win all these chips and not really care about the souls of the kids. You see? And so together, we had a staff, about 8 guys, right? And when we first come on, they're like, what are you doing? We had all these guys, took our kids to training camp, got the armband, and we really just invested in doing what we did really, really well. And but what's beautiful about the league is it is rooted in the community. And we're always looking at, we're empowering others, but the same thing, they're empowering us. It's a two-way thing. And we're always looking for other coaches to kind of step up. And we had this one guy who I was working with, a buddy. He couldn't make it today because he's actually coaching. And I remember the first year, he used to be one of my students, and he kind of coming up, and he was really my right-hand man. We're talking every day about how we're going to beat the next team, right? And we're just talking. Eventually, he ends up starts saying stuff about the second year into it. He starts saying stuff about my kids and stuff like that, and started having this kind of this language that it was more than football. And as he started saying stuff like, "These are my kids," I started saying, you know what? This third year into it, I said, I want you to be the head coach, and I'm gonna be your assistant. If you die or get maimed or something, I'll take over again. But I want you to take it, and run with it, right? And he's all right. And it was great because the kids, respect me and everything. But it was a whole nother level with Buddy because he's from the neighborhood. He was there, and now he's doing the same model where some of the kids that were his players are now stepping up as coaches and somebody's saying work yourself out of a job. I mean, that's really what you do is you empower, you be there. And another thing that's real important for us is, we have some grants and different things like that, but something that's real important is that it's funded by us. That the league in and of itself, we charge like $600 per team, which is if you have 15 kids a team, that's $20 a kid, and then the church on top of that pays $300. And so bare minimum, we can run the league from ourselves. We don't have to rely on our connects from Indiana or whatever. And we have a lot more than football that we'll talk about in a second. But for us, it's real important that we aren't reliant just on the outside, but it is a neighborhood thing, and it always is a neighborhood thing.
Yeah. So. And with that too, we've just noticed in our neighborhoods in Philly, there's different, leagues and so on, and there are some good ones, but unfortunately a lot of times the majority just aren't well organized, they're not run well. I don't know if it's just somewhat the nature of how they view the community, that they don't think, they need that good of a league. So, and also with ministries, we too are all about sharing the gospel and sharing our faith and so on, but also not at the sacrifice of a good sports program, because that is also part of doing justice, that's also part of building a community. And so we go all out with the flag football. We videotape all our games, we create highlight reels, we have Timotheo TV, we keep track of stats, we have season stats, career stats, records, we have a Hall of Fame, we have an all-star game, we have an urban bowl, we have family day, a lot of different things on our website where we're always updating. That's where we have stats, the video highlights, all those things that just the kids really love and that anybody in any neighborhood would enjoy or think was a great league to be a part of. And so that's something we're really passionate about. And with this, when we came in too, football was something that there was already interest in the neighborhood, but there just wasn't necessarily that. If you know anything about Philly, Edison, Kensington, those schools are not known for their football, believe me. It's not something that has been passed on a lot. They're more for their baseball. But when we first started, when the league first started, we actually had the coaches play along, and they were the quarterbacks when I first started. These are still 13 to 18-year-old youth, but they had to step in and kind of run things just because that leadership wasn't developed, that knowledge of the game wasn't developed. But over time now, we've been able to step back and they've stepped up and just done a great job. The youth have in doing that, and so we have our own refs. We have a competition committee, and so just trying to do things really well. Awards banquet, all those things, the mini camp, to just create a good, solid league, and hold it at the same standard as what we want to share our faith with.
And Timotheo TV, you probably saw me in my little suit or whatever. But the only time you see me in a suit. But it's funny because it's catching on because kids are starting to get on the website. And the website really becomes a vehicle of communication. And so it's a way that everybody, and I've heard kids, interrupting the class and the teacher allowing them to show it on the thing to the whole classrooms in the area too. But another thing that's real important to us is that we also do more than football well. And so part of it is also mentoring. And part of it is we really try to train our coaches and stuff to kind of pour into the kids. But what's beautiful about it is we're mentoring the kids that are in our neighborhood. And we live in that neighborhood, so we're pouring into the kids that are our neighbors and pouring into a lot of those. And we have a lot of things. We do a college tour, like actually in a couple weeks. My team, which is the Panthers, and another team, the Packers, are going to get together, and we're going to do a training camp for an entire weekend. And one of the things we do is we're going to come here to Eastern, do a college tour, and we have a couple guys that were on our team that actually are going to college now. And we have other places that we're beginning to show them that there's more out there and kind of broaden their worldview. I remember being in Indiana, talking to this girl who's was a youth pastor there, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I want to bring some kids to Philly to do a mission trip, to come." And I said, "Oh, that's a good idea." I said, "I want to bring some of my kids to Huntington, Indiana, which is about as big as this room, and also do a mission trip." And she was like, "Well, what would you do?" And I said, "Well, the same thing as you, nothing, but they get a lot out of it, right?" And so that's really what we did. I got some of my kids from Timotheo, and we went to Huntington, Indiana, 98% white, and we were part of a thing called Operation Backyard, and we were there, and we poured into the community there, and we're a part of that. And so we're trying to cross worlds, take kids from there, bring them here, take our kids from here, and bring them there. And then also try to divide the world, and show them that there's more to the world out there than just Kip and Canby or right there around the streets. And so that's been something that's been real important, and something that's been real exciting for us is empowerment. Is always looking to see. I mean, these kids aren't our future; they are now, and they're beginning to pour into the community now. And an exciting thing we did this last year is we did a summer camp, right? And what we did is we only had 4 teams. We took over this little park, which in this park we found over 100-some needles. I mean, people were shooting up constantly. It's pretty much a condemned park. What's that?
Not exaggerating.
Not exaggerating, and not from our kids, but from other people in the neighborhood, just to clarify. And so when we started this thing, and what we wanted to do with this camp was, because our league is for kids 13 to 18, and it's very competitive. But in this one, we wanted to kind of get those kids that kind of maybe the 12 to 15 that aren't quite as good. And we even went down and had some kids that were 7 and around that age for each team. But then what we did is we hired 2 coaches per team. And the coaches were kids 16 to 18 years old. And these are kids that we identified as leaders. And so what we did is we taught them how to run the training camp, or the camp. We taught them how to coach. We taught them life skills and that sort of thing. And so they are the ones that began to do that. And they also, what we did is we did service projects in the neighborhood and that sort of thing. And what was neat was they started taking ownership of their own park, right? And so I remember, you know, this little kid right here, some people were getting ready to shoot up. And this is when we weren't there, right? He comes over and goes, hey, you're not allowed to shoot up here anymore. But if you do, take your needles with you. You know? And people started doing that. Like, they started taking their needles with them, you know? And it was less and less. By the time we were done, we had partnerships with the community and stuff coming, and we cleaned out the whole place. And the places where they were hiding eventually got cleared out. And the park, I mean, it's revolutionized, it's changed. And so empowerment, it isn't just about us bringing it in, but it's about these kids owning their own stuff in their own community and living that out. So
yeah, and kind of piggyback in the summer camp then too. Anytime we try and add anything new or do anything, expand anything, we're always trying to figure out how are the youth going to be involved in putting this on. How are they going to be a part of putting this on? Not are we going to do for them, but how are they going to play a role? So like on game day, we have game day jobs where we pay kids. So the stats we do, you know, it's an attraction, the kids love it and all that, but it's also a job. So people get paid $10 per game for keeping track of stats. They get $5 per game for doing the down markers. They get, we have a few guys who are field managers who clean the field, set up the field before the games, clean it afterwards, make sure everything's in order. And so that's just something we're always looking for, and I think that's something also we get sometimes as we're in some neighborhoods that we may think, oh, what do I need to do? What do we need to make happen? But rather it's like, okay, we see this need, how are we going to step forward, but how are all of us going to put this on and make this happen, rather than us just doing this for the kids and for the youth. And so it's really this ownership that has taken place, and just this, and is also just employment. I think the summer camp's a great idea. I mean, we're dealing with a lot of young men of color who have, you know, if you look at statistics, just have a lower employment rate at that age and so on. And also coming from the neighborhoods that we're in, there's already this thought of who they are, what they're like. And so we want to try and fight against that, and also give them some chances for employment and some job experience, and a little, you know, cash in their pocket that might deter them from pursuing another route to get that cash. So.
And another thing that we're pretty excited about is the academic piece. And one of the things, I mean, if you looked at the stats, we didn't look at it real close, but some of our schools, 50% to 60% of our kids are dropping out. And the kids, and it doesn't say, the kids that are making it through, the education is not that good in some of these schools. And so what we're finding is we can't just take some of our kids and take them to Eastern University even, because there's a gap academically, there's a gap culturally for a lot of these kids, and so it becomes really difficult. And so one of the best things that we have going is this partnership with Esperanza College, which is actually a college, it's associated with Eastern University. It's kind of the urban campus. And what's good is they really bridge that gap, right? First of all, it's not just, it's a lot of the professors are professors of color who understand some of their background. They understand the city. Some of them still live there, so that's a very important part. So, and the semesters are actually longer, and so what they do is it's built into the system to try to get the kids up to speed and that kind of thing. So we're just really trying to build on that. We have our first group of guys who are just getting ready to finish up this year, and we're beginning to creating a culture. You know, because we'll take the guys in, and we have Teacup and Iz and some of these guys breaking down their experience, and all of a sudden we have kids that are like, I never thought. And I remember, you know, he was telling everybody, we call him Teacup, right? Real tough name. But he was just like, man, he goes, I never in my life thought that college was even, I didn't even think about it. Because, you know, just didn't have that model or whatever. And so, and then he said through our relationship and taking it there, he goes, wow, you know, like I'm doing it and he's doing well. And so now, instead of us telling kids, hey, you know, they're telling everybody, you know, so they're going back into the community. So that's a piece of the academics.
And of course, a big part of it is mentoring also. We partner with Esperanza USA, and we're fairly new at this, as we said. but doing a year-long mentoring program. So really having coaches focus in on 4 to 5 players on each of their team that they're going to mentor all year round, and meet with them regularly, contact them regularly, and then as a league we do monthly events for them to take their youth to. As you can see here, we went to an Eagles game, which is really exciting. One of the guys got Macklin's gloves, which he was just.
It was actually a good
awesome.
thing that the Eagles stunk to that, because they got to go up real close,
Yeah,
but everybody was gone.
They were getting blown out. Cincinnati was
And the tickets are cheaper out here, so all around.
So we do that. We do a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, yeah, all those things. And so and as we said earlier, like us, all the coaches, we all live in these neighborhoods too. So we're not just coming in. So we're also trying to just live among and exemplify how, our lives on a daily basis, not just through the program.
Right. And this is something I kind of already mentioned. This was broadening the worldview. This was some of the guys that we took to Huntington, and again, just trying to show that, you know what, like, it's not about just people coming in and helping you out. Like, you got some gifts, use them, to change the world and be a part of the change we want to see in the world. So that's a real quick one.
And then just really quick too, with discipleship, that's something we're always, encouraging and pushing for, and that really happens through the coach and the player relationship. There are some things we do. We do have some verse memorization and things like that each Saturday for game day, but we don't use it just to say, oh, this is what you should now believe, or like things like that, but trying to build that into the culture of what Timotheo is, and just what we're about. And we also do things like on our website where we have different pastors in the community of churches that sponsor us that are down the street from them, who you do like a short 3-minute video, 4-minute video, kind of breaking down the verse, kind of saying what it means to them, putting a real street level kind of explanation of it, and really applicable to their lives and to their context that they're in. And a big thing is just creating that brotherhood. Now that we've been around for a little bit, it's just the commissioner lead Ness, he kind of calls the field our sanctuary. So when they step on that field, there's just this this culture that's been built of peace. Not to say we don't have tension and so on. I'm not going to tell you that, but that's definitely when there's a reputation and so on that's been built. Is that when they step on that field, they know what it's going to be about. That it's going to be a safe place. It's going to be a good place, a fun place, an encouraging one, and so on.
And then the final slide, that's a fancy slide, is networking. And we can't do it alone, and we don't try to do it alone. And part of it is we partner with churches, we partner with different groups. This guy on the top right, he would work with this Ray of Hope, and he's from the neighborhood, and he does these cleanups, and he would go and he would be able to, he's from the neighborhood, and he would share to the kids, how we need to take care of our neighborhood, and so he would kind of lead our service projects every day. And one of the things, when you look at issues that we have in our neighborhood, and issues of poverty and stuff like that, there's a lot of different causes of poverty, and there's a lot of different reasons for that. But one of the common threads, it seems a lot of times, is there seems to be a lack of networks, and there's a lack of, a lot of times the jobs we have, the things we have, are maybe from somebody that we know or something like that. So one of the things we see is important is begin building all of our networks, and begin building those networks. And so, we have a Chick-fil-A Connect we just had, which we're going to get 100 sandwiches donated to us for training camp. I'm so excited. But from that, we want to begin, talking to them, saying, you know what, we would love to be able to have you hire 1 or 2 of our kids. But when you hire our kids, you're not hiring them, you're hiring all of us. If they act like a knucklehead, call us and we'll take care of them. And so we want to begin thinking creatively how we're doing this thing together. Where we're really mentoring and walking with folks, and then also the broader. The networks out there. Some of our kids may be able to go and leave Philly, and not that we want them to leave Philly, but if they do, that there's broader networks out there, and people out there who see the gifts that our kids have, and the value that they have as leaders in our world, in our society. And we hope that people see that and are able to put the resources or allow them to come and be blessed by some of our kids. So that's Timotheo in a nutshell. We just got some new brochures and stuff like that. If you check out our website, TimotheoFootball.com, it breaks down. We have a bunch of videos and all kinds of stuff, and so we have our first Harlem Shake video up there too. So we're gonna do a big one. We're gonna do a big one real soon. Yeah. All right.